Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling, the AEW Dynamite edition. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. Holy cow, am I pumped up today, guys. Today has been an insane day, not only personally speaking for my personal life, but also in general in the world of wrestling. First of all, I want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in because we have a ton of stuff to talk about. Let's just say that AEW completely went all out in terms of getting us really excited for Blood and Guts, which is next week. Guys, this is the 31st episode of Speak Now, and it is also the April 28th edition. So again, we are going to talk about Dynamite today. We're going to run through things in a chronological fashion in order of the events in which they happened. And for those of you who are new to the stream, this is a very interactive and engaging stream. So if you guys want to get your comments, your questions, or your statements read, you can send them in here on the chat, or you can also send in a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, you do get your comment read on the air, 100% guaranteed, or your money back. Just kidding. I do not have the power to give you your money back. Also, F4W does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds or whatever money I make from super chats. So they are very much appreciated on here. And we are getting tons of comments. And this is what I like, guys. My favorite thing about Dynamite is that when it's good, everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody's really excited to talk about it. And I kind of feel that way here today. But guys, let's start off with, what did you think of AEW Dynamite? Go ahead and send in your comments. Before I do so, I need to read our first super chat of the day. Thank you so much. Shout out to Hodge Gulashi, who just sent in a super chat with my name on it. Thank you so much. And I actually think it was Hodge who had a question earlier. He asked if the YouTube fans on here were the YouTube chatters or the YouTube homies. Now, Brian calls the Twitch homies. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new one, guys. So you guys know the Twitch homies. Now let's give birth to the YouTube dudes. All right, YouTube dudes, that is your name for this stream. I don't want to steal Brian's idea of Twitch homies, but thank you so much to Haj Gulashi for sending in this comment. This super chat. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read your thoughts on what you guys thought about Dynamite. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Brandon Charles Powell, who says, AEW and NXT being on different nights has been a win-win so far. Love it. 100%, hands down, have to agree with this comment because not only, you guys know I do the NXT show on here as well, but one of the major things that we've been talking about is how much they've switched directions on NXT and have made it an overall more exciting show. And then in terms of Dynamite, it was already a good show, but now I just get, for somebody who was covering both shows, now I just get to watch it at ease, in peace, and enjoy it just a little bit more. So yes, definitely a win-win for everybody involved here today. And Nika Suave says, Cage beating Hangman was incredibly unexpected. That was one of the biggest surprises of the night, and we will get into that, but I had to point that out because, yeah, it was a huge, interesting start. All right, so here we go, guys. We have some comments. Let's see. We have a comment from iChurch Pastor Blaster, who thought that AEW Dynamite today was a great show and is excited about Blood and Guts next week, saying the show overall was amazing. We have a comment from Kalum Cadell, who says 9.5 out of 10. Love this episode. One of my favorite ever, but it's really hard to decide a favorite because there are so many banger episodes. Dude, I have to agree. That's one of the things that we talk about nonstop. And, that's why whenever there's like a mediocre episode of Dynamite, we're all here saying like, wasn't that great today? Wasn't that great? Why? Because we're used to good episodes. And today was probably one of the ones on the good end. We have a comment from Ryan Cordis who says, so how did the show end? I blacked out when I saw Yuki Nagata is going to be on AEW. Talk about the forbidden door being open. We will talk about Nagata down the line. Again, good wrestling today, lots of progression and storyline, some couple of surprises, and some major announcements for today and all of that. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and jump into the show. Once again, as we run through everything, you guys can go ahead and send in your comments, and I will be reading them as it pertains to the topic. Before I get started, I have a comment from Patrick Etheridge, who says, while watching the great episode of Dynamite, I was so excited to hear your thoughts. You're the best, Denise. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope my thoughts are good enough for you to enjoy the show. All right, here we go, guys. So one of the major surprises actually took place in the opening match, which was Brian Cage versus Hangman Page. And just to confuse everybody, I'm going to call it Cage versus Page. So just to confuse everybody. All right, so this match I love. So I love this match because I love the way that it kicked off. Now, before I talk about that, we have another super chat from George Sandoval. Thank you so much to George, who says, sorry, my ball rolled over here. My bad. Keep up the good work, D. Good Dynamite show. Next week should be lit. Next week will be lit, especially if it's any indication on what we saw today. Thank you so much to George for sending this in. All right, so back to the opening match of Brian Cage versus Hangman Page. I loved it. And the reason why I loved it was because it was completely unexpected. So we all know, let's be real, we all know that Hangman Page is going to be the one of the future faces of AEW Dynamite. And some can say he's already a face of a main player in AEW Dynamite, and he is. But I'm talking getting to that Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley level where he could be champion one day. And we all know that's eventually coming down the line. So I think, given the fact that he's been on a nonstop winning streak, we all kind of went into this thinking that Hangman Page would be defeating Brian Cage. But then probably some of our light bulbs didn't turn on and think, dude, look at Brian Cage. Brian Cage is a killer. And they necessarily haven't been doing always the greatest with Brian Cage. Like, some weeks have been more hits, some weeks have been misses with Brian Cage. It hasn't always been a very consistent build for Brian Cage. However, today was probably the best that they have booked Brian Cage in kind of a bit. He's had some great moments throughout Dynamite and all of that, but today was definitely a pivotal moment. So this match kicks off with basically Cage attacking Hangman Page prior to this match. He even power bombs him on the ramp and essentially never really lets him recover. So going into this match, he is practically manhandling Hangman Page. He is suplexing the guy. He is just overall manhandling him. We did get a really nice, beautiful moonsault from Hangman Page, what I felt the need to talk about during this match because for some reason, it just looked extra nice today. But in the end, we did see Brian Cage hit him with a power slam, hit him with a buckle bomb to get the finish. And once we counted 1, 2, 3, I could not believe that Brian Cage defeated Hangman Page. But here's why I liked this. So aside from the fact that it was completely unexpected, and I'm a big fan of the element of surprise, the reason why I liked this was because beating Hangman Page actually means something. Hangman Page has been protected. He's been winning. He's been number one. So the fact that Brian Cage got a win over him actually means something. It's a big deal for Brian Cage to defeat Hangman Page. Now, the other thing is, again, we all know that down the road, we're going to be seeing Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page. Hopefully, obviously, fingers crossed. But it's a safe bet or a safe assumption to make. So now, at least we know that they're not automatically going to give this title shot to Hangman Page. It's not going to, having Brian Cage win, to me, tells me that we're not going to go directly into Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega. And I like that because one of the things that I've been saying on this show is that if Hangman Page were to face Kenny Omega at this moment, he would not be winning. He would be losing because it is still Kenny's moment as champion. And so when Hangman Page eventually gets that match with Kenny Omega, you want it to be a passing of the torch moment. So I'm hoping, and obviously this is just an assumption or an estimated guess per se, but I do want to eventually see Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega, maybe at All Out or Full Gear or something like that. But overall, I really like this, and it also didn't make Hangman Page look bad. Guys, the guy was attacked before this match. He didn't get any chance to recover, couldn't catch a breath. None of that. So I like this. I thought it made Brian Cage look like a monster, and it made Hangman Page he didn't look bad whatsoever losing in this. So here we go, guys. Let me see what you guys are all saying, what you guys thought about all of this. And we're seeing so many different comments on this, but I'm going to read a comment from Hodge who says that this was smart booking. The pre-match beatdown means Page is not hurt, but Page did not get hurt in this match, but the win still makes Cage look great. Exactly. This was a creative win-win situation for all parties involved in this. Corey Thomas says, genuinely, Brian Cage winning might be the most shocking result since Brody Lee destroyed Cody Rhodes. Yeah, it could definitely be listed up there. And I like the fact that it happened when nobody expected it on your opening match of Dynamite. So I really like all of that. And all right, guys. So again, keep sending in your comments. If I missed it, you can send it in a super chat, just like Christopher Marino just did. Shout out to Christopher, who says, I love this booking as it was too soon to do Page at Double or Nothing. So he needed a loss to get out of the number one spot. Now down the road, he can beat Cage to face Omega. Exactly. They're not rushing it. They're not, taking a leap right into that. They're giving it a moment. And during that time, Hangman Page could continue getting wins. Heck, maybe even go for the TNT title. We don't know. They can go a lot of different directions to continue building up Hangman Page here. So he loses nothing here, really, other than let's just give it a breather. Let's take a second. We will get to that match. So thank you so much to Christopher for sending in this, super chat here. And let's see what we have here. We have a comment from Mike Lima77 who says, what if Kenny does title for title with Brian Cage? That FTW title is shiny. Dude, He's the belt collector. Why not? Why not? That could actually be an idea. And let's see what else we have here. Martin Carrillo says, Brian Cage has really good potential as a main eventer, no doubt. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, just look at the guy. Even if he sucked in the ring, I would say, you know what? Nah, the way he looks, keep pushing him. But here's the thing. Brian Cage does not suck whatsoever in the ring. So not only does he look a certain way, but he can also have these bomb matches with pretty much like anybody that he's in the ring with. So he kind of has it all. It's really, truly a little bit unfair, to be honest, at all the upside that Brian Cage has. And if you're going to book somebody to be this unstoppable, beatable monster that everybody is going to buy and everybody is going to believe, it's going to be Brian Cage. All right, let's see what else we have here. I'm going to go through the rest of your comments here. And this is a comment from Tam Zed who says, so is it possible for Brian Cage to turn face this time? Question mark. It would revive his chances to become world champ. Well, we have been seeing a couple of weeks. We were seeing a little bit of a tease where Brian Cage really wasn't on the same page as Team Taz. It's lightened up a little bit, but we did get a couple teases there for a second. And let's see what else we have here. Go ahead and send in your comments, guys. Again, if I do not see it, you can send it in a super chat. But we're going to go ahead and read another comment from Ryan T, who says, it's interesting that they were pushing so much tension in Team Taz and have sort of stopped all of a sudden. Wonder if we're waiting for a sudden surprise turn. And that's kind of what I was briefly mentioning or talking about right now, that there was that tease of, hey, there is this tension between Team Taz. Not everybody is on the same page. They're not seeing eye to eye. And now it has slowly faded away, but I'm wondering, we can always circle back, and especially after tonight's events, heck, it could happen. It could happen. And Mad Mercenary says, Cage has got to turn face. Wardlow too. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens down the line here. And we have a comment from K-Town Shutdown 21 who says both Cage and Archer have teased face turns, both after confronting Sting. Lance Archer is definitely somebody that we're going to talk about towards the end of the show. Alrighty, guys. So there you go. Again, this was a really good start to Dynamite. And I think that given the way that it started, it should have kind of foreshadowed the events that we would see follow on for the rest of the night, because a lot of stuff did happen. Like, this literally wasn't it. But ladies and gentlemen, I have an idea. Lo and behold, my idea. AEW needs to start an earring line. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We need an earring line, because after the earrings that we're seeing the Good Brothers wear, the Young Bucks wear, they just got to do it. They're leaving money on the table. Tony Khan, if you're watching this stream, start an AEW earring line. We have a backstage segment where the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Don Callis are all in this limo. And by the way, it looked like a very, very tight limo, since all these guys are huge and could barely fit into it. But basically, Kenny Omega just says that everywhere they go, the money goes. And while he's talking, Doc is literally licking his muscles. And I'm just thinking, all right, cool. This is hilarious. I love this. A quick little backstage moment. I was completely fine for it here. And Labor Days points out that the Danglies are what they're called on BTE. And everybody's pointing out to the Danglies comment. So yes, I do agree with that. I would like that. We have a super chat from Brandon Roseanne. Thank you so much to Brandon, who says, the Young Bucks are such fantastic heels. Love how obnoxious they are. AEW's tag team division is so stacked. I can't decide which one will eventually take the Bucks down. Who's your pick, Denise? Dude, that's the thing that from the start, AEW has had a very strong foundation for their tag team division, where like you could even complain, like for a while, we weren't really seeing them do much with certain talents. You can say for a while, we weren't seeing them do stuff with, the Lucha Brothers. We were not seeing them do stuff with Santana and Ortiz. And that was literally because they have so many talents on the AEW tag team division that it was so hard to, really give everybody a moment, a time to shine, a proper feud, all of that, right? So honestly, for me, I gotta say, I love the Young Bucks right now. What they're doing as heels is making them exciting and revamping them in an exciting way. But in terms of who will eventually take the Bucks down, at the moment, I still don't know. But I would like to see Jurassic Express down the line be one of those people that are being in consideration for this. And maybe even perhaps when the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle and they're done doing their thing, I would like to see Santana and Ortiz in that picture as well. So those are just some of the ideas down the road that I would like. But I appreciate the super chat from Brandon Rosen. If you guys have any awesome, better ideas, send them in, guys. Send them in. Ahmed also points out Moxley and Kingston. Hell yeah. That's another one too. I mean, really, there's lots of options here. Redmond Survivor points out Silver and Reynolds. I agree as well. Again, there's a lot of really good stuff here. And we will talk about that four-way match that is coming next week. And all right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on. So after this, we had, speaking of tag team wrestling, this leads us into the Young Bucks versus Matt and Mike Sydal. So I gotta say, this was one of the matches that was announced ahead of time. And it was one of the matches when looking at the card, I was already excited for Cage versus Page. And then I was secondly most excited for the Young Bucks and Matt and Mike Sydal. Like, this was a match that I was looking forward to heading into Dynamite. And here's the thing, is that we've already known that Matt Sydal was good, that he was talented, that he was great, all of that. But I really do think that today was a good showcase for Mike as well, because he kind of went in there, really showed that he could hang in here with all of these guys. And some of you guys may have already known that. But for me, this was kind of more of a good moment for him to really show himself, really prove himself here. This was a fun match. I liked it. I think that they delivered the kind of match that you would expect from these four individuals. And overall, I like the fact that even though this wasn't for a title, that they went out there and made this an important match. They made this an exciting match, and just because it's non-title should not mean that it isn't important. The Young Bucks ended up getting the win with the BTE trigger, and that was kind of the end of it. A really good match. I enjoyed it. Post-match, though, we had Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels come out and point out the changes that they have been seen in the Young Bucks. And Christopher Daniels even goes as far to calling them entitled, overdressed bitches. And I lost it. That was one of my favorite lines of the entire show tonight. Entitled, overdressed bitches. That was great. This was a good promo. Always happy to hear from Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. And I like the direction in which they are moving along with them. And let me see what else we have here. We have a comment from R. Riggs, who points out that he really enjoys the heel work from the Bucks. I 100%. A lot of people here are talking about trios titles, saying that they want trios titles. I mean, I don't see, look, it does feel like there are too many titles. We've had this discussion before, but I don't think I would be completely opposed to it. I'm kind of 50-50, guys. I'm a little bit 50-50 on this one. And let's see what else we got here. We have a comment from Pomi, who says Santana and Ortiz should take the belts from the Bucks at All Out since they are baby faces now. Give them something, guys. They usually tend to fall and be in the shadows of, Sammy and MJF and Jericho. They're always kind of in the shadows, but whenever they're given an opportunity to shine, they shine. And BTW, guys, like, just a little fun fact for those of you guys who are like, what the hell does Denise like? What the hell is she into? Legitimately, my favorite tag team is really Santana and Ortiz. Their work that they did in Impact Wrestling was some of my favorite tag team wrestling that I have ever seen. So on this show, we do stand Santana and Ortiz, and I kind of always root for them because they legitimately are my all-time favorite tag team. Like, I'll just go ahead and say it. They are my all-time favorite tag team. So I'm going to be very biased on that here. Very biased. And Ryan Cordes leaves a comment saying, we're for sure getting a trios tournament or bouts. AEW just randomly started using it a lot a few weeks ago. And Mad Mercenary points out, oh, hell yeah, that feud with the Lucha Brothers was money. Hell yes. If you have not seen the work that LAX did with the Lucha Brothers in Impact Wrestling, seriously, just go check out the series of matches that they had. And I swear to God, like, you will be on your toes, just like, oh my God, like watching everything that happens. Really, really. All right, guys, but here we go. Let's go ahead and move on because I need some predictions. So people watching live, get those fingers ready, get the chat going because I need predictions. Here's my prediction. Here's my question to all of you. Who do you think will be Jade Cargill's manager? Now, she had a promo. Start sending in this comments. She had a promo where essentially she's doing, similar to what the Macho Man did when he first entered WWE. So she comes out, she's talking about how she doesn't want, she's getting all these offers. People all want to sign her and all of this, right? But she doesn't want somebody to take her money because she's that bitch and she doesn't want to share her money with people. So who do you think her manager will be? I have some theories. I read some of your theories on Twitter, but I'm convinced that it's not going to be Vicky or Matt Hardy. I do not think that it will be either one of them. They were the ones that were shown in this promo, but I do not think that it will be them. But let's see what you guys are saying here because we kind of have a range of different suggestions. We have people suggesting Awesome Kong. We have people suggesting Vicky. We have people saying that it's going to be a new person. And I do agree. I think in the direction in which we're heading, it's going to be a new person. And most likely, this is not like, I don't know, this is just an estimation or something that I personally would like to see, but I have to agree with a viewer here, Sean Harrington, who says Thea Trinidad, formerly known as Zelina Vega. Guys, if it were to be Thea, I seriously would be so over the moon excited for this. Like, so excited. Somebody on Twitter said, do not get my hopes up because a lot of people were mentioning Thea's name. And I kind of have to agree. My hopes kind of got up a little high just thinking of the possibility of it being Thea. And I really do think that she would be the best option. Now, whether or not she will be the option is a totally different thing here. But we're seeing so many more people pointing her out here and pretty much saying that she's somebody that they would definitely like to see. But I do agree, and I do think that it will be a surprise for sure. Gerald Andrews says Don Callis, and yeah, I think he's a little busy, but I also saw some people on Twitter suggesting Brandy Rhodes. I saw people suggesting that she go to Team Taz, but out of all the options, for me, it really is Thea there. We also have some people saying Mickie James here as well. I do think that Mickie James, period, in AEW would be amazing. You guys already know my thoughts on that. I think that she should be one of the women that actually comes in, not really as a manager, but as a wrestler, coming in, having her work with the young talent, helping them get better. I do not know how, I would bring her in stat. All right. That's all I got to say. I would bring her in stat. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on from this, but I love this. I love this conversation. I want to thank each and every single person who is watching this stream live. We are officially just like blowing up here. So thank you so much to anybody who's given this show a chance. For those of you who do not know, quick shout out. I do 3 shows a week on here, guys. 3 shows. I cover NXT on Tuesdays, AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, and Smackdown on Fridays. So it's always a different feel for each and every single show. Obviously, different products, different stories, all of that. So if you guys are enjoying yourselves here today, make sure to come in for NXT or SmackDown, whatever you guys please. Also, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel because we are just growing and all of that. And Mad Mercenary points out that he loves this show so much more when it's only one show to review. And Brave Internet Guy says this show deserves 1,000 live viewers minimum. Hell yeah, guys. The more you guys help me retweet and like on Twitter when I promote this show, the more viewers we get and all of that. But it just makes my life so much easier when it's one show. You have no idea. One show makes it so much better. All right, guys, moving on. So after this, we had Orange Cassidy versus Penta El Cero Miedo. So one of the things that I tweeted during this match on Twitter, and it kind of took off a little bit, and I have to reiterate it here on the show, is that, we talk about, shows that we like, wrestling shows that we like, things we don't like, right, on each and every single show that we watch. And I was thinking about today while watching Dynamite, I kind of started thinking, why is it that I enjoy Dynamite a lot? Why is that? Why do I find myself enjoying Dynamite? And one of the things that, aside from the fact that they move very fast paced on the show, but this match was kind of like exhibit XYZ as to why I enjoy Dynamite. And the reason for that is you look at these two talents. You look at Orange Cassidy, you look at Penta, and these are two very, very different talents, two very unique talents, two very versatile talents that are completely opposite of one another. I like the fact that they are not identical to one another and that they can come in and have a genuinely super fun match. It keeps things fresh. It keeps things feeling like there's a possibility. One of my favorite things, I like to see random matchups with different people that, we've never seen before work together, or we haven't seen work very often together. And I like those types of matches. I like that kind of feel because it keeps you guessing, keeps you feeling like things are fresh. And that is what I felt during this match. And this was a perfectly fun match. It was what you would expect from an Orange Cassidy match, but also sort of mixed in with Penta's flavor. I liked all of this. My favorite part was all the super kicks that Penta was giving Cassidy. The finish too, I enjoyed because it was shades of similar to what happened last week on Dynamite when we saw Trent this week give Cassidy the microphone and essentially hit Penta in the head with it and get the win. So I kind of like that they're getting in these sly little wins with their shenanigans that they're doing very, very quietly on the outside. So good match overall. So let's see what you guys are saying here. We have a comment from Morningstar, who actually doesn't like Alex Abrahantes at ringside. Dude, I gotta completely disagree. So, like last week, one of the persons that I could not stop putting over in this was really Alex. Alex, I think, brought so much to the table, and he's been doing such a phenomenal job. I'll be real with you. I didn't realize that Alex had this much range, but he comes out here and he really delivers. He's not just like translating, but he's also delivering it like if he himself were the one that was saying everything on the promo. Stephen Kramer says that I enjoy Dynamite because I'm on the payroll. Dude, if Tony Khan wants to get me on payroll, Tony Khan, bring me on. I will take it because I need the money. Let's be real. Thank you so much to Steven, who's a fan of the show and was obviously just joking around. But here we go. We have a comment from Patrick who points out that he loved this match, that it was really, really fun. Yeah, I agree. Redmond Survivor says Orange Cassidy versus Penta was his favorite match of the night. And I think for the most part, there's not one person here who did not like this match whatsoever. I think everybody here pretty much enjoyed it. And let's see. All right, guys. Oh, we have a comment from Labor Days who says that Alex actually does good work and that it goes with him and it makes it really work. I agree. And everybody here is saying that on here. Agree. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and move on. So after this, we do get a quick backstage segment with Britt Baker, essentially celebrating being at the top, the number one contender. Kudos. I love what Britt Baker is doing. I'm excited to see where they go from this. But let's jump into the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle parlay. Guys, we have a super chat from Ryan T. Thank you so much to Ryan, who says, here's your first advance from Tony. Hell yeah, I will take it. Thank you so much to Ryan for sending in the super chat. BTW, guys, for those of you guys who do not know, F4W does allow me to keep, after YouTube takes a percentage from the super cut super cut. Oh my God. From the super chat money, after YouTube takes a cut of that, I am allowed to keep 100% of the proceeds from the super chat. So they do help out. I appreciate them when you send them in. If you can't send them in, it's okay. I still read free comments as well. Just because I like to do that, but I do appreciate any super chats at any point. So thank you so much to Ryan T for sending that in. All right. So, okay. We have a comment from Raymond regarding Britt Baker. Says, hurry up and put the belt on Baker already. Dude, yes. All right. The parlay. The Pinnacle and the Inner Circle parlay. So everybody was making kind of fun of me on Twitter, but at the same time, a lot of people kind of felt the same way I did. And let me know on the chat here, who really knew what a parlay actually was heading into this show? I'm sorry. Yes, I saw Pirates of the Caribbean, but I thought parlay was just like a fancy code word for pirates. I didn't realize it was like a whole thing. So anyways, I went into this not knowing what a parlay was. So you know what? Hashtag dumb for me today, but I really did not know what a parlay was. So heading into this, I had no idea. What was happening. Had no idea. So I think a couple people here say that they knew, they didn't know, but mainly everybody knew. Jake Larson jokes thought parlay was a gambling term. I don't know anything about gambling either, so I do not know. Gerald Andrews says, I knew what a parlay meant strictly due to Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, then, I clearly did not understand the movie then, because I thought when she said parlay, it meant that she got to talk to, what's his face? Davy Jones, right? Is that his name? Oh my God, I haven't seen the movie in a long time. All right, so I thought it just meant that she got to talk to him, but I didn't know how this worked in the sense of like wrestling. I didn't get how it was going to work. Whatever. I'm dumb. Okay, let's move on. All right. So Ryan, someone explains this. Ryan Cordes says, parlay is the negotiation. Parlay is the gambling term. I don't know. I do not know. Oh, thank you. Captain Barbosa. Oh my God, I was trying to remember. And I'm like, it's Davy Jones. No, thank you. It's Captain Barbosa. I appreciate this. All right. Anyways, we're moving. Let's go back to the parlay. I didn't know what it was. This turned out to be pretty good. I gotta say there was a lot of things that I liked in this. So first and foremost, the Pinnacle comes out. They come out with their security team and they just, they come out all serious, dressed all in black, looking like big buff guys, right? But then the Inner Circle comes out and they come out with these dudes and these motorcycles and they're looking like they're going to kill anybody. And those are their security. So talk about levels here in terms of security. All I know is that now I want to see the Inner Circle security versus the parlay, versus the Pinnacle's security. So Tony Khan, Book It, Blood and Guts, security team versus security team. I like this. They were all cutting promos. There was a lot of good shots that were thrown in here. Some of my favorite ones included Sammy Guevara telling Shawn Spears that not only is he a failure in AEW, but that he was also a failure at where he used to work. And I was like, that is such a good line. That was probably one of the best shots during this parlay. Definitely one of the best shots here. We also we had a good one from Dax where he's basically telling the Inner Circle to hug and hold their kids because daddy isn't coming home. I liked this too. That was really good. MJF tells Chris Jericho that he's taking his spot. This is something that he has been saying in his promos as of late. And then Jericho basically tells him that he cannot inherit his spot because he can't inherit it the same way that he inherited his trust fund money from mommy and daddy. And that was probably my second favorite shot of this parlay. The whole trust fund, mommy and daddy thing I thought was pretty hilarious. And Jericho reverts back to the comments that have been made about him when he was 25 years old and whether or not he was jerking off whatever. So he says that, yeah, at 25, he was traveling the world, that it got him to where he is right now. And that is why he's in the spot that he is in. And that's why MJF will never be at that spot. So I liked this. I love the Jericho promo. This has definitely been the best Chris Jericho promo that we've gotten since this feud started. I liked it because he was pissed. He was angry, and he should have been this way right from the start. Now, with that being said, I'm excited for Blood and Guts, but if you're going to ask me if this feels too soon, I gotta say yes, guys, because Blood and Guts should be the match that you end a feud with, not necessarily that you kick off a feud with, have it in the middle. So it does kind of feel weird that even after this Blood and Guts match, we're probably still going to get like this feud continuing on, because I'm thinking, what do you do after you do a Blood and Guts match? Like, what follows that exactly? So this does feel a little rushed, but I'm still really, really excited for Blood and Guts. And that is going to be next week. And Jericho does tell MJF that they will literally have to kill them to make them surrender. So given the fact too that we all thought that this was just going to be one match next week for Blood and Guts, and they announced more matches, I'm curious as to how long they're actually going to give this match, because I do want to see a good lengthy Blood and Guts match, especially because of commercials and all of that. But we have another super chat from Brandon Rosen. Thank you so much to Brandon, who says, I'm relieved that Blood and Guts will no longer just be a one-match show. Glad they added the other matches. I'm sure Blood and Guts will be sick, but not sure if they could carry a 2-hour program. Yeah, so they announced a lot more matches, and I will go over those later on, but I do think that it was smart of them to not just do the one Blood and Guts match, because I want to see a lengthy match, but I don't want to see it being 2 hours, all right? Like, that's a little too much. So I am glad that they went ahead and kind of basically, with these announcements, told everybody, relax, calm down, take a breather. It's only going to be it's going to be more than one match. So thank you so much to Brandon Rosen for sending this in. And Ahmed says, I'm thankful that Spears got to talk. He is so underrated. Yeah, he's one of those people that I think you thought was going to go down a certain path on the AEW roster and kind of went a totally different direction. And this has really, like, him taking part and joining the Pinnacle really has completely reshaped his path here on Dynamite for sure. And thank you. Sean Harrington corrects me on jerking the curtain, not jerking off. Guys, this is not a common phrase that I use, so I'm gonna mess it up because it's not a common phrase that I use. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and see the rest of what you guys are saying. This is a comment from Chris Cage, who says, the Inner Circle Parlay promo was the best effing thing this week, and nothing comes close. Amazing show. May not fare well in the ratings because of the Biden speech. Yeah, I don't know how much that's going to affect that. I really do not know. I do not know, but hopefully I really do want to see AEW consistently break that 1 million mark, because it gives me hope, guys. It gives me hope that if you put on a good product, the fans will watch. It gives me hope for the future of wrestling. And Dixon Sider says, Denise, you may win the battle in Blood and Guts, but when you lose the war in the title chasing, you would lose the war anyway. So the real winner will be whoever collects the most belts. Okay. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and see, again, guys, if you have any comments that I did not get to see or read, and you're like, dang it, Denise, please read this. Again, you can send that in a super chat, and I will be able to read that as well. But let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here. And we are moving on to the Eddie Kingston, Kenny Omega, Nakazawa segment, because there was a whole lot of kind of a little bit of comedy in this. I thought this was pretty good. So we had Eddie Kingston come out and call out Kenny Omega, and Kenny Omega basically is just like, nah, bro, like, you're not gonna get me. Obviously, he doesn't talk that way, but but sorry, guys, I read a chat comment and it distracted me. All right, so Kenny Omega basically says no. Nakazawa from behind ends up hitting Eddie Kingston with the computer, with the laptop and all of this. And then Eddie Kingston gets pissed, puts Nakazawa's ankle on a chair and threatens to break his ankle. And I will tell you this much, Kenny Omega did not give a rat's ass whatsoever about Nakazawa's ankle, all right? He was just like, he knew what he signed up for. I thought that him not caring was so on point with who Kenny Omega is. I thought it was hilarious. And then, but here's my question though. As this is going on, I'm thinking to myself, where the hell are the Good Brothers? Where are the Young Bucks? Are they out eating bagels? Are they out shopping for earrings? Where are they that they couldn't be here to help out Kenny or Nakazawa? Anyways, Moxley ends up attacking Kenny from behind and brings Kenny to the ring, puts him in a chokehold, and Eddie ends up putting the chair on Kenny's ankle. Don Callis comes out. Kingston threatens him like, hey, if you don't give us a tag team match, we are going to break his ankle. And Don Callis is like, no, he's our champion. You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And now we are going to get Kenny and Nakazawa versus Moxley and Kingston next week. So that is one of the matches that has also been announced for Blood and Guts next week. So that should be really, really fun. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got an interesting comment. So let's bring on the controversy. Brave Internet Guy says, I don't get all the hype behind Eddie Kingston. I think it's only because he's good, real life friends with the top guys, and that's why they all want to work with him. Look, in terms of the show, I've just got to say that I really enjoy Eddie Kingston. I'm a fan of Eddie Kingston. I get why he's over, and I'm a fan of his. Obviously, in the ring, he's not a Kenny Omega in the ring, but I think what his charisma, his personality, and his mic work carries him over to be somebody that I can be a fan of, that I can get behind of. So I'm a fan of Eddie Kingston. Like I can't say that I'm not a fan of Eddie Kingston. And let's see what else we're seeing here. Patrick Newen says, Good Brothers were most likely doing a JO segment. I'm not even going to, sorry, audio listeners, for BTE to explain why they aren't there to save Kenny. God, guys, this chat here is blowing up, man. All right. So here's a good comment from Kieran Crossley, who says, Eddie Kingston is brilliant, so well-rounded, one of the best promos in the business. 100% correct. I have to agree with Kieran on that one. Alrighty, guys, let's jump into this. We had a nice, fun match between Penelope Ford and Kris Statlander. A good win for Kris Statlander. I did think that they worked really well together in this match, but overall, I'm just happy she got this win and a decent match. And for the most part, that was kind of like all I wanted to say in regards to that. But if anybody wants to add anything to this, feel free to send in a comment. I will read those. Before we move on, for all of you guys who are watching right now, just a friendly reminder, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You're already here. Make sure to subscribe. If you're listening to the audio version of this, come on in, just search up F4W Online on YouTube, get to the channel, click that subscribe button, and there's like so much content here. I go live 3 times a week, NXT, AEW Dynamite, Smackdown. So it's always a lot of fun on here. And then there's all this extra content, especially if you sign up to be a member on the YouTube channel, you get even more content. So it's literally just a lot. So if you guys want to get all of that, get all of your news, get all of your reactions, make sure to come to the channel, follow the channel, become a member, whatever you guys want. Also, if you haven't already, please feel free to follow me on social media at Instagram or on Twitter at _ Denise Salcedo. I am super, super active on social media, especially Twitter. I'm always tweeting a bunch of stuff. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me. I'm trying to get to 20K by the time it's my birthday. My birthday's like in 20 something days and I'm still over 1,000 followers away. I don't think it's going to happen, but you know what? I'm going to keep trying. So if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on there. Also, if you are an Instagram addict, do not forget to follow the New Wrestling Observer Instagram page at WON F4W. I am helping run the Instagram account. So if you haven't followed, make sure you guys follow. The numbers have been growing. We've already surpassed over 1,000 followers on Instagram. So make sure you guys do that as well. All right. In regards to the women's match here, we're getting quite a few comments here. This one is from Jake Larson, who says having Statlander back adds a great hand for the division. That was one of the things that I mentioned right at the beginning. So yes, I agree. Ryan T says the women's division has been really solid lately. It has definitely been shaping up to be a whole lot better. And I think a lot of what changed that was really just what people were saying on social media in terms of criticizing the division. I think they listened to that and they made the necessary changes. So I really like all of that. And Sean Harrington also points out that they thought Statlander versus Ford was a pretty solid match. And for the most part, I think everybody pretty much enjoyed. Again, it was a good match. All right, and let's go ahead and move on. So after this, we had the Factory versus the Nightmare Family, and I think this kind of imploded into something that I didn't even really expect. So I'll be real with you guys. This was one of the storylines when this whole thing first started. I was one of the people that was on here coming on the show and basically saying, I'm not interested. I don't care. Blah, 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 right? I said a bunch of things. But this week, I gotta say, they've been doing a good job of making me actually care. And this was one of the weeks that they made me care. I care now about what the Factory is doing. I'm impressed. I'm looking forward to seeing their growth on the roster. They basically, the Factory, they kicked off this match. The Factory came in the Nightmare Family bus, and this plays into the story later on. Some of the highlights really of this match, the match itself was okay. I didn't think it was anything like amazing or anything like that, but I just got to point out the Camarado looked really, really good in this match in terms of they actually made him look like a beast, like a monster. Obviously not as good as Brian Cage, but something different. His own way of looking like a badass. So I really liked all of that. Like, I would not want to mess with him whatsoever. But Cutie Marshall ended up getting the win for the Factory, so that was good. But it's really everything that happened afterwards that we need to talk about. So after the match, Nick did use the cowbell to hit Dustin over the head. And that is one of the things that I like that they've been doing with him. He's one of those people that I feel like we can get behind of. Again, the Factory wasn't somebody that wasn't a stable that I actually cared about. I had no interest in them, but they've been making them look strong the last couple of weeks, and they're hard to ignore at the moment. But QT goes back. He goes back to the bus, and what we don't know and what was kind of unexpected and I really enjoyed is that when he opens up the door, Cody Rhodes is there, and I don't think anybody was expecting Cody to be hiding in there. So Cody Rhodes is essentially waiting for him, and he ends up attacking him. They go at it in the parking lot. Somehow they end up on the roof of the tour bus, and even Aubrey's there. Even Aubrey's on top of the tour bus, and Cody puts him in the figure four. QT taps, but obviously it's not a match. And they end up announcing that next week we are going to be seeing Cody versus QT Marshall. So this was good, guys. All of this was unexpected, and it actually made me care and furthered along the story. So I was completely a fan of everything that went down. We have a couple of comments here. Hunter Dobbs says, the Factory needs Samoa Joe. AEW needs Samoa Joe, period, honestly. And let's see, I'm going to get some more of the comments here. And I think everybody here is really enjoying Camarado's work. For the most part, everybody's saying all of that. Kevin points out that Anthony Ogogo has a big upside too, lots of young potential. I agree with this as well. And we actually have a super chat. Thank you so much to Jason Odell. Jason, thank you for sending this in. He says, I don't know why so many are bent out of shape about QT. He's obviously a heat missile to get his guys, especially a go-go over. Yeah, I think that in the beginning, like, I never had a problem with him. It was just more of I didn't have any interest in what they were doing with him, period. Like, I wasn't really feeling the actual storyline. And I don't even think I was feeling it the following week, even after that. It was really until maybe last week, this week, that I actually felt like I actually started caring, because they kind of made you care. They made the story interesting, and I appreciate that. I really, really do. And yeah, he is one of those guys that is going to help these guys get over, especially like you mentioned, Ogogo, who is obviously still not at the level that he needs to be, but he's going to get there eventually, you know? And so far, they've been doing all of these guys justice. So thank you so much to Jason Odell for sending in the super chat. I really, really thank you for that as well. And let's see what you guys are saying in regards to all of this. And all right, this is a comment from Haj Gulashi, who says, QT just lacks any charisma. The best part of the match was the young guys going at it. Look, he's gotten, I've seen worse. I was just saying, I've seen worse. I wouldn't go as far as say that he has absolutely no charisma. I've seen worse, honestly. I really have seen worse. All right, guys. And this is a comment from Joseph Boza, who says, the storyline with Cody and QT doesn't mean anything. I think people are hard on this storyline because it's hard to care about Cody when he can't go for the World Heavyweight Championship. I will say I agree with that. I agree with the fact that I don't like that Cody can't go for the title. I didn't like that from the beginning. I haven't liked it ever since. But again, I have to give credit where credit is due, and they have been making me interested in something that I wasn't planning on having any interest in whatsoever. Daniel Esparza says the story behind QT is okay, but a lot of people don't care, like me. Exactly. I was there, guys. I can't blame the people that don't care. If you don't care about it, I can't blame you, because I was sitting in that exact same spot not too long ago. It's really more, again, I liked what they did today, and it made me care a lot more. All right, guys. So let's talk about some of the major announcements that were made. So we had a big announcement. So May 12th, Moxley versus Nagata for the IWGP United States Championship. And guys, this kind of was huge because, again, everybody and their mother has been talking about the forbidden door, and the forbidden door being open. And this makes me excited, guys, because the fact that they announced this match, to me, makes me feel that when COVID is like, you know, better or gone or whatever, when the world opens up again, it makes me feel like we're going to get Okada, we're going to get Naito, we're going to get Tanahashi, we're going to get Jay White on Dynamite. It makes me feel that at one point or another, we could see this as a potential possibility. So that makes me excited, period. And I'm looking forward to the match. I think that it will be good. I think it will be a fun one, and people are really excited about it. Good comment from Matthew Makovsky, who says, I love it. I can't speak highly enough about this. Brian MF Paul says, I was shocked as hell when they announced Moxley versus Nagata for next week. I can't wait to see it. I have to completely agree. I don't think anybody really saw this coming. And, so yeah, this was really good too. And our Riggs also points out, looking forward to watching Nagata. So everybody's excited about this. It makes me excited again about the possibilities of what we can see happen. Also, they announced Britt Baker will be back in action next week. Excited for that too. Again, Blood and Guts is going to be a big show. And today was really the day that we actually found out that they were going to do more than just the Blood and Guts match. Another match that was announced was a 4-way tag team eliminator match. We have SCU versus Jurassic Express versus Varsity Blondes versus the Acclaimed. And I'm laughing because my notes app changed SCU to Sculpture. And for a second, my mind went, what the hell tag team is Sculpture? I almost panicked. I was like, who the hell is the fourth tag team? And then I realized it was SCU. So anyways, next week that's happening. And the winners of that match will go on to face the Bucks on the May 12th show. So already the May 5th show, the May 12th show are really shaping up to be something. And that makes me super excited. All right, guys, we have a couple more things to talk about as we move forward. Let's jump into this gruesome attack that we saw from Miro. So for a long time, we have been wanting to see Miro actually utilized in an exciting way that does him justice. And this was it. He's been doing I think it was the last 2 weeks, he's had some pretty solid promos, basically saying he's going for the gold and all of that. This week, he just nearly killed Kip backstage in the locker room, literally closed the heavy door on his wrist. I mean, this was a killer beat down. A killer beat down. I like this. This is the Miro that I want to see. And yeah, this is a comment from Redmond Survivor who says, Maniacal Miro is great. Hell yeah. Ahmed says Miro gone psychopath. Yeah, he definitely did. Definitely did. And Benzo says Miro is acting like he was in prison. King Snake says horror movie psycho vibes. Wow, I love all the comparisons that we are getting here for this Miro attack. It was really, it was definitely really something here. All right, and everybody's making fun of Sculpture now. Guys, book Sculpture, the greatest tag team on earth. Sculpture. All right. Last and formal, we are about to close out this show. Darby Allin versus 10 for the TNT Championship, the main event. And I kind of have a few things to say about this. Really, what I want to get at is that Darby, the last several weeks, has had some of the best main events. Like, his reign now as TNT champion has gotten so much better because they've been giving them all of these different varieties of matches, different variations of opponents, and he's had different types of matches with each and every single person, and that makes me happy because for a while, to me, his reign started to get a little dry and started to sizzle out a little bit, but now he's been getting like really good stuff. Like, I've been looking forward to all of his matches since then. But I will say this, I didn't think this match with 10 was the greatest out of the other ones that we've been seeing, like his stuff that he did with Matt Hardy. Like, it wasn't at that level, but it was still a pretty enjoyable match. Darby ended up winning this, and now he has had 9 successful title defenses, so that's good. But the show closed out post-match. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page attacked both Sting and Darby. I like this. It gives them something to do. Instead of just talking about wanting to do something, it gives them actually something to do, moves the story along, and just really keeps it moving. Lance Archer then comes out to help Sting and Darby and scares away Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. And that, my friends, is how AEW Dynamite closed out today. So again, a lot of stuff happened on this show. Haj Galashi just pointed out that it elevated 10 in his opinion. Yeah, I mean, whenever you're in a match with a TNT champion in the main event of Dynamite, hell yeah, it's going to give you a lot more, it's gonna raise you up a lot more, definitely. And let's see, we have some comments. This one's from Matthew, who says that he's actually over the Page and Scorpio stuff. I do think this leads to a multi-man ladder match, a double or nothing, maybe even has a surprise, New Japan Pro Wrestling or Impact Superstar. Okay, so I feel like the way that this kind of got started didn't make sense because Scorpio's in this promo that they did a couple weeks ago, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky was talking about how, he's tired of not getting opportunities. And you can say, yeah, I agree with Scorpio Sky on this. But then Ethan Page was kind of saying the same thing. But in reality, he could just join the company. So he really couldn't say that because he had just been there for like a week or two by the time they did this promo. So it kind of didn't make sense. And I think they've necessarily done anything major where you're like, all right, I'm really excited for these two guys. This was really the first time that they actually really did something that you can say like, oh, I'm getting excited about this. But prior to that, there really wasn't as much. So I could see why you're not completely feeling it at the moment. But I do think that if they do this right, it could get a lot better. And, all right, guys, send in any final comments. I'm going to try to see if I missed any major ones that I'm going to try to read. This one is from OJ Simp, who says, Miro should be champ. Miro came from a company where people knew how to work and looks like a man. AEW roster. Oh, no, OJ Simp. I thought your comment was going to be like something different. Dude, like, there's a lot of good stuff. I know people are always making the comparison of WWE and AEW, but there's a lot of great stuff on AEW. And I know some people are not going to want to hear this, but there's a lot of good stuff in WWE as well. And I should know this because I watch every week. I'm not going to say that every week's great because it's not, but there is good stuff in there. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't agree with that comment on there. So guys, all right. And lastly, let's see what you guys are saying here. Everyone's laughing. Guys, when it comes to the comments, I read part of your comment, I pull it up, and I kind of read the rest on the air. So I kind of just go as I go. As you guys can tell, I am multitasking here. So that's kind of how that all plays out. But guys, next week, Blood and Guts. And I cannot wait for Blood and Guts. I want to come on here next week and be like, hell yeah, bro, tonight's show was awesome. So I really hope that happens. I'm so excited. If you guys enjoyed my stream today, please let me know. Hit me up on Twitter @_ Denise Salcedo. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Guys, you have no idea. If you guys tell people my show is good or you enjoyed it, it really helps other people say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give this crazy girl a chance and I'm going to tune into her stream. So please help me spread the word. Please help me continue growing this channel, helping grow this stream, the show, etc. All of your support really, really means the world to me. So I hope to see you guys back here for Blood and Guts Talk next week. Also, if you guys are fans of NXT or you're fans of Smackdown, feel free to tune into those shows as well. Those are also really fun and exactly the way this one is, where we all converse and have a good time. Alrighty, everyone. Love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an awesome night. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone. Take care.